Okay, you got it. All right, so I'm ready to hit start if you are. The recording's
Yep.
going? Okay,
Yep.
so hi and welcome to the middle of a bizarre conversation. My name is Amy Jo, and today I will be giving a class on the power of our words. And what makes this class a little different than maybe the NLP kind of things, the neuro linguistic programming kind of talk, is that I found ways of measuring words and the power of the words. I want to give a second to introduce myself and to get my screen situated out. Let's see what's going on. All it says is I can see Z's screen. So if you're not seeing what you want on your screen, you can scroll your name over, you scroll yourself over onto me, and then hit pin and pin me on top. That'll help you out a lot. And yeah, I don't know why in the full screen mode I do not see myself, but I will deal with that. So today's class, like we said, is going to be on the power of our words. My name is Amy Jo, and I am a psychic medium. I'm not a psychic medium from birth. I actually fell into this by way of dowsing. I started out dowsing in Puerto Rico. I was very, very sick, and I had 105 temperature for about 10 days. And at about 10 days in, I realized the doctor is not going to save me, and I am going to die. And I decided that it would be important to so I decided that it'd be important that I had seen a guy. I'd read a book. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. There was a microphone unmuted and it was confusing me. So if I seem a little scattered, that's why. So I had read a book about a man by the name of Lou Phillips, and he was or Lou Smith. He was a psychic medium and a dowser healer who could douse a medical dictionary and find what was wrong with a person in about 3 minutes when the doctors couldn't figure it out. Well, I'd read that. I'd taken one course like 5 years ago on dowsing at a metaphysical church, and I had gotten correct answers. My husband was a Christian. He did not want me to be meddling in that, and so I had let it go. But here I am, 110 fever, and I'm in dire need of some answers of what's wrong with me. So I immediately got out, went online. I got a list of body organs, and I took a pendulum and I said, where is this infection? What is this infection coming from? And I went immediately to the bladder. So I called my doctor and I said, hey, I've got this. Is there any chance that this infection is a bladder, a urinary tract infection? And he said, why? What symptoms do you have? And I thought, boy, I sure can't say, the pendulum told me. So instead, I said, I burned a little, I think, yeah. But I'm sure I wasn't very convincing in what I was saying there. But when in asking that, he said, well, you can take off and go over to the main island and get a urinary test if you'd like. And so I ended up at 105 fever going on a ferry for 2 hours to the main island, getting the results back. I had E. coli off the charts. So we took the he called me back. He says, man, you've got the worst E. coli that I've seen. He goes, it's common in the urinary tract, but this is really bad. So they ended up putting me on some pretty heavy doses of the correct medicine this time, and within 3 days I was much better. So I always say dowsing saved my life, because I knew I wasn't going to make it if I did not get that, if I didn't get the help I needed, and I had to be the one to deliver it. So I used this as my catalyst for getting in. I'm still struggling here with controls because my speaker, I'm not getting any speaker views, and I hope you guys do pin me to the top because I'm not seeing myself. So it's confusing me and I'm a little scattered. I'll get together here in a second. So here I have this new tool, this ability to use a pendulum and get some answers. And I began dowsing a alphabet chart and finding out what was going on in the alphabet chart, and getting answers. I would ask a question, and then one letter at a time, it would spell out. Well, always the answers were really astounding. I was floored. They were accurate, and I got all kinds of great advice this way. But the more I used the pendulum, the more I began to hear the word on the first letter instead of waiting for it to spell itself out. And I began to hear my guides by using dowsing. And now I'm known for being this great psychic medium. And it all came from dowsing and getting here. So I asked my guide what his name was, and he said his name was Abraham. And at the time, I wasn't aware of Abraham Hicks, but later on, I was very disappointed to find out that the name of my guide was already taken. So anyhow, people ask, is it the same guide? Yes, it's the same Abraham, but Abraham Hicks is actually a committee of guides that she deals with. And my Abraham is, I know when it's him and I know when it isn't him. And so I don't say it's Abraham all the time. So here I am, got all this information, and I'm channeling Abraham in writing. And my mom says, well, do you think that you could let Abraham speak through you? And I said, well, I've never tried it, but let me give it a shot. So I began to, I got real quiet, and I just let the energy take over, and I began to rock, which a lot of people might need to know that. I began to rock with the energy of it. And then I began to speak. And he was speaking to my mom about my brother, who she was having some problems with. And so he was saying he would do better. He thrives on appreciation. And he would do better if you would just appreciate him for times even when he's not doing anything to deserve it. Just give him this appreciation. And he said, because he strives so hard, he feels like if he's not giving you what you want, you don't love him. So you might want to, do this. And then he wanted to say, do you understand? Now, remember, I've just recently had 105 fever for 10 days. And he stopped. He said, do you understand? And in my mind, I heard, do you understand? But my voice stopped. And I just sat rocking, and I heard, understand, understand, understand. And then I heard him say, do you comprehend? Through me. He said the words, do you comprehend? And later on, he was asking about vitamins, and he stopped. He wouldn't say the word vitamins. He waited, and he goes, supplements. You could take supplements. And he changed his wording. He would not say certain things. Every time he came to the word no, he wouldn't say it. Instead of saying, do not stop what you're doing, he would stop, I would think that thought, and then he would change the way he said it. And instead of saying, do not stop what you're doing, he would say, continue with what you are doing. And he would change his wording. So when I was done channeling him, I couldn't talk to him while I'm channeling him and he's speaking. I can ask him no questions. It's almost like I'm in a glass room, and I actually look out above my glasses. When I'm channeling him, I'm not seeing through the glasses anymore. I'm seeing the room from a different view. I'm not doing that now. Anyway, he said, I asked him, why did you stop why did you stop? Why didn't you say understand? And he said, it's a low vibrational frequency word, and a word that is below neutral being dragged through your physical body in your weakened state could be highly detrimental to your vessel. That made me stop. What do you mean? And he said, well, I said, can you explain that to me better? And he said, yes. He says, the word stand is the normal. This would be if we were taking a pendulum out and we were saying, what is the frequency of this word? Stand would be at the neutral, and understand puts it below the neutral and actually makes the energy negative. And the word vitamin, for some reason, was negative. Now, of course, all of the words no and don't and all of these things that he was saying and stopping himself, those, of course, are obviously below the level of neutral words. The word no is what he would call a quantifier. It's a word that will reverse the meaning. And so if you take the word like war is this raging word full of all kinds of vile energies, right? We could take the word riot for this moment right now and recognize that our bodies actually feel bad when we say these words. We actually feel vile. We feel it hurting our energy as we speak these words. So you can take out your pendulum and you can say, okay, the word with the word war, I am clearing and blessing the word war. I am clearing and blessing the word war. I am clearing and blessing the word war. And it's taking all of that negative energy that's been associated with it for years. Now it went reverse for a while, and now it's going forward, bringing that blessing in. And so right now, I'd like you all, I wish I had some of you with your cameras on. I don't see anybody with their cameras on. It would be fun to see you. But thank you very much, Emma, for turning on. So right now, I'd like you to take imagine you have a chart in front of you, and to the left is negative and to the right is positive. What is the frequency of the word riot? Just kind of take it. What is the frequency of the word riot? For me, it goes quite a ways down. Is it on the negative side for you? And you just nod your head or shake no. Okay. Okay. So now say, I am clearing and blessing the word, clearing and blessing, clearing and blessing the word riot. And just what it does, and you can test the energy. And when somebody says the word riot around you, you sway this word anymore. Like volatile will be able to good. And so I wanted to introduce a lot of Grace, the great dowser, the master dowser, introduced me in his newsletter called the Court of Atonement. And it just sounds so bizarre. I wish I could change to hear it. What the heck does Court of Atonement mean? But my guide Abraham, when we had it, I asked for assistance on how to get the family back together, and he said, well, put their souls in a court of atonement. And he goes, well, just look at the word, at one-ment. It means bringing them back together. And basically, their souls in a court of atonement is you're asking their souls to meet without all of the, and put it in a sacred place where they can speak to one another and explain what happened. And then it's like it's gone in your energy. And people are seeing miracles coming from this. Now, this class isn't on the Court of Atonement, just a little bit. And I'll go into that a little later. I want to stay with the power, what we think about. And that's why dowsing healing works so well. I wanted to give you just a couple of little examples so that maybe you'll reach for this a little more. With the power of our focus and what we're talking about brings about by having very I was with my sister and she was putting on a party, and we had a whole bunch of folding tables. Food needed to go, wouldn't stay up, and she needed a pair of pliers to fix it. And car, I looked in my husband's truck. I went to the park rangers. Nobody had. Law finally said, I'm just going to get in the car and drive to Lowe's. I'll be back in 20 minutes. And so his car, all of the pressure has been taken off of the problem, right? It's solved. He's going to trip. And there's a piece of metal, rusted metal, sticking just this much out. Kicking, oh my gosh, that could puncture somebody's foot, you know. I start kicking at that piece of metal sticking out. Came up out of the ground. I hit him on the ground a couple of times and they still worked. And I went, I found a pair in the dirt, you know. And so he's like, oh my gosh, that's 4 more. pairs of pliers laying in the road. And my husband would stop, pick up 4 pairs of pliers. That's 5 pairs of pliers in about 3 hours of my to find pliers. So guess what? I found lots of pliers. So when we put our focus, we get that. Now, if we can use this tool of knowing that some, even when they mean something good, and we begin to clear off these words, down and write a goal list. And he said, oh, I hate that word. I hate the word goal. We changed that word to, an intentions list. And I'm like, I'm all about words. So yes, he had negative associations to the word goals from high school teacher that just kept saying, you don't have any goals. You don't put such your goals. And he was the word goals. He was like, you can say it all day long. It doesn't bother me anymore. Word right now, a lot of people have problem with their weight. A lot of them with, how does my health respond? Like I said, I think of a chart that's like split in half. Screen here, if I can remember how to do so. I think that's it. I'm going to with application in the window. I'm getting this all figured out. There we go. So this chart is a 0 to a million. It's different from the bulbous chart because it has 70,000, which is straight up right here. If I ask, how does my, I'm just saying, what is the frequency of fat? It's down here at 5. It has no energy at all. So if I say, okay, I am clearing and blessing the word fat. 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 I'm clearing and blessing. I got it back up to 70,000. Now, the reason 70,000 is the top of the chart on this particular chart, which you're going to take home, is 70,000 is the frequency of healthy cells in your body. And so you want to have the cells in your body, you want the words to be aligned. When they're way up here, when the words are way up here, they're increasing your energy. That's great. But who wants to have the word fat be something that your body associates? So we kind of my aim is always to bring them up to 70,000. When there's something that I want to attract in my life, like money and things like that, I get it to 70,000. But I'm just neutralizing, so it's not causing detrimental energy to my physical form. Now let me see if I can stop sharing. There we go. That said, I stopped sharing, but it didn't bring it back. There you guys are. Hopefully, did I come back where you're seeing me now? I want to just make sure. You still seeing my screen for share screen? Are you seeing me? No.
No, you need to go up and hit the camera again. There you go. You got it.
Thank you. Gotcha. Okay. I didn't do that, but it did. So now, good. I'm glad I asked. You guys hear me? You see me? Okay. I know that it's different than Zoom, so I had to kind of stop and find where we were. So again, you can want to take this chart, and when you're working on things like, if you can take right now and take your pendulum out and douse, what is my level of towards money? Do you guys all you can douse and say, how does my body, plus 10 minus 10, how does my body respond to the word money? And you want it to be very neutral if you're wanting to attract it in your life. Now, people think that we want money to be something that's like, ooh, I remember a friend was trying to attract a new house. And so she was thinking about her new house, and she was jumping up and down going, woohoo, I won the lottery. I won the lottery, that kind of thing. I got a new house. I got a new house. I'm like, that's not normal. What you need to do to attract a new house is pretend you woke up in the morning, got out of bed, walked downstairs, brushed your teeth, went to the bathroom, did your normal things. To attract something in your life, you kind of want it to be normal and have it be the norm, right? Because believe me, having a brand new house myself, I've only been here for 6 months. I do not wake up every single morning going, woo, but I do walk through and go, wow, this is my house. I love this house. But for the most part, I get up and use the bathroom every morning without even considering it. So that's the way you want to manifest. But if a new house, let's say you could take the chart you're going to haven't got it already. You can take that chart and go, how does my health respond to the word house? Because I've had a house flood. I've lost a house to a flood. I've lost a bike shop, and a word house might actually feel like something I should avoid. You can take your pendulum and test, where do you feel in this energy? And then you just say, I am clearing and blessing the energy of the word house. And you can now, I wanted to go back and say, I was talking to my brother and we were loading his truck with all of our sound equipment. Oh my gosh, this is the same music stand that I got so badly hurt by in Puerto he's on the phone, so he can't hear me. So I'm in my mind, I'm replaying the telling him how I was grabbing my toe and hopping around with, on stage with 80 people. Creating it. Oh my gosh, cancel, 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 cancel. I stop this energy. I stop it. I open the side of the truck, and who but that mic stand or music stand comes. I totally lined that up. Now, I want to bring home this idea. And we would get to sneak over at night. They were gone. They were never there. They were only there 12 days a year. It just didn't feel right. So we didn't use the house, but we did go over at night and get in their jacuzzi. And she's like, tell me a story, tell me a story. And I would tell like a guided meditation. Somebody that we knew, and then they took us to the airport and we went on a great like tropical helicopter flying in, and I'd be like, bop, 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 bop. The helicopter comes, you can hear about 2 or 3 days after she left, a helicopter is out all of a sudden the helicopter turns around, comes back, and lands on the lawn. Have you every day for 3 weeks I've been talking about a helicopter landing on my lawn, and now helicopter pilot gets out. He says, "Hey, I'm Larry Estancier. I'm a stunt pilot down there. Want you to know, would you like to go up?" He invites us up in the helicopter. And so did my son. One time, my friend and I are in our helicopter come over the hill. And so we're bobbing around in the water, and the helicopter is circling over the loudspeaker, "Sunny side up, ladies, sunny side up." So, people are going to get it. And the more you talk about it and the emotions that you put in it, you will an adventure. It was really fun. So we were always intending. So to let you know how powerful you really are, and that you create your life by the things that you choose to focus on, and focus on nice things. I choose to focus on in life. I choose to do this. I actually completely for free on my website. It's called but the Stop It program attachment, and we talk about words. Oh my gosh, I'm so this is what people choose to focus on. And so the things we're saying to ourselves. So the Stop It program had those statements in it. And a woman who had been bedridden for 8 months said she started to play with this, and she ended up getting up and getting around. And then when she caught herself saying, "I'm tired," she began to say, "I could use a nap." And then she'd go get back up. And after 3 weeks of being on this, she had gone back, gotten a job, gotten out of bed, and got this class completely, just the Stop It program. My website is in the handout, so you don't have to write anything down to check it out. And we were I had an injury, and I wanted to move some wood. I can't do that. And I thought, how come